Welcome back. So, in previous lectures we were talking about the Earth system. Now we will talk more detail about whether we look at the closed system or based on the processes which are occurring on the surface, which are occurring below the surface. So, these are the processes which we are talking about, the plate, one plate going below the another one, triggering volcanism, deforming the earth crust, okay, and then because of this we are having earthquakes and all that, okay. So, we have another process which are occurring external processes, which if we talk, so the best example is the hydrological cycle. We will come back to this again at the end when we are talking about the systems, okay. Now, let us see at what is the concept behind the system, okay. So, we have like either we classify this as an completely an isolated system, or we can say that it is an closed system or an open system. So, Earth as a system, let us see that what type of system is the Earth system, okay, whether it is isolated, closed or open. Okay. So, first the isolated system, if we take, then we define that a system in any portion of the universe that can be isolated from the rest of the universe from observing and measuring changes. Okay. So, you can't do anything, it is completely isolated. Okay. The simplest kind to understand an isolated system is that the boundary completely prevents the exchange of either matter or energy. So, nothing can be exchanged. Okay. So, this type of system we term as an isolated system. So, for example, the radiation coming in, but nothing is happening, nothing is absorbed by this container. Okay. So, if you consider this container as an earth, then the radiation is coming and going back, okay, into the atmosphere, but nothing has been absorbed by the earth. Okay. So, this is a kind of an isolated system where there is no exchange of matter or energy. Then second is the closed system. Okay. So, again the closed system, the nearest thing to an isolated system in the real world is the closed system. Okay. That is, such system has a boundary that permits, okay, the exchange of energy with its surrounding, but not matter. Okay. So, this we can say that this is an exchange of heat also, okay, or exchange of radiation which is coming in, okay, absorbed, because there is some sort of an layer which allows this radiation to penetrate through, either you say this is an atmosphere, it's true, of course, it gets into the system, okay, it is absorbed, but at the same time it is also reflected back to the atmosphere. Okay. So, there is an exchange of energy with its surrounding, but not the matter. So, no material exchange has been taking place. So, we say that is a closed system. So, only energy exchange is there. Now, for example, if you take the radiation, okay, the electromagnetic radiation which is coming in a different wavelengths, okay, and you have spectrum which is very important for us, that is your visible light. Okay. So, this spectrum or the electromagnetic radiation with the different wavelengths, okay, which are we have classified as a gamma ray, X-ray, ultraviolet, okay, and then we have visible light. Then we get into the microwaves and radar waves, and the waves which we use, okay, for the receiving the signals of TV or television and radio. Okay. Now, how far this radiation or is absorbed by the earth? So, if you take this example where we are having the, of course, this is the source of radiation which generates short wave radiations. It travels through and crosses the atmosphere. This is the inception. Some is reflected back, some is observed, and after this the long waves are been radiated back to the outer space. Okay. So, incoming radiation from sun, short wave radiation, visible and ultraviolet radiation, what we classify, and then outgoing radiation from the earth is in form of the long wave radiations. Okay. So, further, if we take this as an very in a form of a very simple example, okay. So, we again have the source here. So, this explains somewhat the model of what we are talking about, the greenhouse effect. Okay. So, what happens exactly? Okay. So, short waves from the sun is coming to the atmosphere and it penetrates through the atmosphere on the earth's surface. Okay. So, what it does is that the short waves heat the ground. Okay. Warm air rises and heat the greenhouse. Okay. Because if you carefully see this blue is your short wave which is coming here, okay, and then you have this orange color which are the infrared rays radiated from ground, but it cannot pass through the glass, and the glass is very much similar to your atmosphere. So, what will happen? They are reflected back to the ground, okay. And some long wave radiations are emitted by through the warm glass, okay, which will get into the atmosphere. So, we have short waves here, we have atmosphere, okay. It penetrates through, absorbed by the earth's surface, some goes back, that is what we are talking about, the infrared rays, but it is they are reflected back here, and some goes into the atmosphere. Okay. So, the water vapor, okay, and the carbon dioxide act like glass, okay, allowing short wave radiation through, but absorbing and re-radiating the infrared back to the earth's surface. Now, this will increase the warming up of the earth's atmosphere and the earth's surface, okay. And this in particular what we are talking about, the greenhouse effect, okay. So, now this example you just keep in mind and try to correlate with what we were talking about, the isolated system or a closed system. Isolated, no matter, no energy is exchanged. Closed system, energy is exchanged, but no matter. So, you can guess, okay, what in that sense we should categorize the earth, okay, either it is isolated or closed system. Let us go ahead and then see that what is the open system now. Okay. So, the open system is earth is only approximately a closed system, okay. So, closed system we are talking about, only energy can be exchanged, but no matter. But here we say it is approximately closed system. Now why? Because the meteorites, of course, this activity or the phenomena is happening in very like few numbers, but in some places yes it is more, but in past it had. Okay, we have examples of the white craters which have been formed because of the meteoritic impacts and all that, and we have evidences of the meteoritic impact on the Earth's surface. Okay, and you might have watched some movies where they say that a big chunk of rock mass is moving towards the Earth and all that. Okay, fine. So this is exactly that part. Okay, so what it happens is that because the meteorites coming from the space and fall on Earth, okay, causes slight escape of the gases in space. So whatever the gases which are available within the atmosphere, or we can say the glass which is not allowing to exchange the matter, it will get exchanged at that point of time, because it is puncturing the meteorite which is coming in, it is puncturing the atmosphere and it allows some gases to escape into the space. Okay. Moreover, Earth comprise of 4 open system. Okay. Now this example what we are talking, which is because this is an energy exchange of the energy as well as the matter, then this become an open system. But as in the first bullet what we talk about the closed system, approximately closed system, is because of this. Okay, because most of the time Earth remains as a closed system, but when there is a meteoritic impact, it is disturbed that, and there is a puncturing or there is slight escape of the gases. Okay, so that it exchange matter also, so it is partially closed system. Okay, but within Earth as a whole, okay, it comprises 4 open system because it keep exchanging matter as well as energy. Let's see what are those. Okay, fine. So Earth system, as a system, if you take, what we have is that we have atmosphere, we have geosphere, we have biosphere, we have hydrosphere. Okay. Now these are all systems within the Earth system. Okay. So Earth is comprised of atmosphere, geosphere, biosphere and hydrosphere. Okay. So geosphere, mostly we talk about the rocks, volcanic eruptions and all that. Okay. Atmosphere, we talk about air. Hydrosphere, we talk about water. Biosphere, life in all its forms. Okay. So energy and material like water, carbon and minerals, okay, there are sediments, and those sediments are minerals, small minerals, okay, derived from rocks, are transferred from one system to another one. Hence, it is considered as an open system. Okay. So, to a close approximation, Earth is a closed system. So, if you ask that what is the Earth, well, as a system it is a closed system, but approximate closed system. Okay. It's not a complete closed system. But within Earth system, what we have, atmosphere, and as I told other, biosphere, geosphere, hydrosphere, they are open system. Okay. So open system can exchange both energy and matter across its boundary. So at the time of the meteoritic impact, it is becoming partially open system. Okay. Now one of the system, if we talk about, okay, so what is happening here, this hydrosphere or hydrological cycle, okay, if we say, then we have of course the energy coming from sun, okay, then we have, if we have water body on the surface, or water body either the isolated either ocean or in the river, there will be an evaporation from lakes, streams and soil, okay, and then there will be an transpiration also through the vegetation and all that. So what ultimately we get back is the rain. Okay. So when there is rain, there will be an erosion on the surface. So it is eroding the material, and it is transporting the material from one system to another system. So, this way what we talk about is it is an open system. Here also there is an exchange. So, an open system can exchange both energy, that is sunlight, and matter across its boundary. Now, for example, drainage basin are internally open system because they exchange the energy as well as they exchange the material. Okay. So, the open system, now it is clear that we have 4 open systems within the Earth system. Okay. So, this is your geosphere, so land mainly, which includes, for example, Earth core, mantle and crust, continents, ocean floor, mountains, rocks, sand, dust, metals, asphalt, bricks, etc. Okay. Then we have hydrosphere. The examples are oceans, lakes, rivers, groundwater, glaciers, polar ice caps, rain and snow. Okay. Then we have atmosphere, but we talk mostly about the gases, okay, oxygen, nitrogen, water vapor, ozones, and of course the air or the wind. Okay. So, this is the part of the atmosphere. Then we have geosphere. The example again is the plant, humans, animal, insects and microbes. Okay. So, other than this 3 system, we have another important one is the biosphere, okay, which includes plants, humans, animals, insects and microbes. Okay. Now, when Earth's environment systems, okay, if you take the Earth's environment has a complex network of systems interlinked with one another. Okay. Now, why this statement is coming here? Because if you disturb one, another will get affected. So, that is one of the reasons why we have been emphasizing that there is a human interference which are resulting into the extreme events, okay, which are resulting into the warming up of the earth. Okay. this is what is there. Okay. So, if they are interlinked with one another. Okay. So, human influence, if you take, basically we are influencing Earth's external geological processes. Okay. So, we can't interfere or influence the internal processes, but we are influencing the external processes mainly. More than 7 billion people we see that or we know that they are on Earth. Okay. So, what basically we are doing? Okay, we are overloading the system. So, if you overload the system, this will happen. Okay. So, this is one of the examples just to have a fun, but of course, this is what is happening on the Earth. The population is growing exponentially, and that is going to affect the overall external processes. So, this is the world population based on the data from the historical as well as from the present until 2017. Okay. So, this is one of the example. If you see, we have crossed almost like 7 billion here. Human influence, okay, our daily activities are having measurable effect on one, rainfall, okay, climate, air, water quality, erosion. Okay. So, if you take this, of course, to some extent, if you keep warming the earth, we will have the effect on the climate. We keep polluting the air, okay, and we have been watching on the television how polluted are our cities. Okay. Water quality, we keep on pouring the garbage, okay, or the effluents, the toxic effluents in the rivers or the oceans. Okay. We are polluting the water quality, and this is happening slowly. Of course, the effect you will see as a long term effect, because immediately it will not get affected. Okay. So, if you keep adding the pollutants or toxin into the water system, then it will overall also pollutes the groundwater, okay, and it will affect us only. Of course, deforestation and all that we have been talking about, which will result into more of erosion, and more of bed load has been added to the streams or the rivers, okay, and that will eventually to some extent reduces the channel area through which the water will flow in a particular river channel, okay. And if you increase the sedimentation or the deposition of the, because of the heavy erosion, you are reducing the cross sectional areas. So, you are leaving a very small area for the water to flow through. So, what will happen is that you are having the excess rain, then the channels will spill over and it will be in the flooding states, okay. So, that will result into the flooding in the nearby regions, okay. So, this is what we are influencing as a human, okay. So, to have proper understanding of the earth processes, it is essential to know various natural processes related to earth and its environment, okay. So, we collectively take as a system and its environment, we talk about the different systems within the earth system, that is atmosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere and biosphere. So, we have internal processes, we have external processes. So, we will get into detail of this, and topic wise we will talk about the internal and external processes. So, I will stop here and we will continue in the next lecture. Thank you so much.